reality is success is actually incredibly easy. The hard thing is, we live in a society which is created to distract you, to stop you, to slow you down. The secret, however, as a new age property entrepreneur is to be able to overcome those challenges, rewire your brain, and execute relentlessly. Being successful and achieving the things you want to achieve is not difficult. What we want to do is observe the masses, do the opposite, and find the hacks to enable us to become a high performer, be on our triple A game, and achieve everything that we've set out to achieve. In this podcast, I'm going to take you through the 10 hacks to enable you to break through the noise, able to get outside of the mold, and try and go against the masses and the noise of society. So whether it's introduced by the government or social media or the food that we eat and the news that we read, all of this stuff is actually getting in your way. And we need to figure a way to break out of the noise, get away from the distraction, and actually take control of what we're doing. And if you do this, I guarantee you success is easy. So in this Blueprint podcast, I'm going to take you through the 10 productivity hacks to enable you to level up, get on your AAA game, and see how success is really easy when you know how to do it. So the first 3 is clean, lean, and full of steam. The first is clean. If you eat from the same place that you put fuel in your car, if you put food in your stomach in the same place you put fuel in your car, you're automatically going to be tired, you're going to be sluggish, you're going to be slowed down. It is ridiculously hard to eat well, but if you eat clean, it will fast track your progress, it will give you more energy, it'll enable you to be more effective, more productive, more motivated, and that's the first one. So we want to get you to be clean, and this is basics like drinking enough water. All the food we drink, the air we breathe in is full of pollutions, full of toxins. Something like a 50% reduction in dehydration is basically the same concentration reduction as if you drunk the legal driving limit of alcohol. Water is the best energy drink you can have. So first is drinking enough water, whatever you deem to be enough. 2 to 3 litres is probably a good benchmark, but check it for your age, sex, weight and height. Drinking enough water, best energy drink you can have. Fill you with energy, get your brain clear, flush out the toxins, get the body moving. The second, and food would be the other thing. Clean food. Just look at what you're eating and putting in your mouth, and if you're fueling your body on things like sweets and crisps and sausage rolls and Scotch eggs and like all this processed stuff, the food industry is not created to be good for well-being. It's actually, if you were to look at it scientifically or critically, you would agree that it's actually there to slow you down. You walk down the supermarket shelves and everything's a luminous purple, a luminous green. It's there to sort of distract you and seduce you. I would say it's pretty confident to say that probably 50% of the food in supermarkets is probably shouldn't really be fit for human consumption. So the first is clean. Drink water, flush out your body, and eat clean food. If it's green, it's good. Obviously, talking about veg and fruits. If it's not processed, if it's clean, if it's from the ground, just look at what you're eating and think the less processed, ideally not processed, the better. The second is lean. And as we come into, depending on when you're listening to this, coming into in this period, the summer period, which is the championship season, the days are long, energy levels are high. We want to really optimize the energy levels we have. And what you can do here with being lean is just put yourself into a small deficit. Look at what your maintenance calories are. Say it's 2,000, 2.5. Maybe knock down 2, 3, 4, 500 calories a day. And what you'll find is your body just starts to go into fight mode and flight mode and becomes a little bit more sharper and a little bit more, not on edge, but a little bit more driven, a little bit more motivated, a little bit less sluggish. Perhaps your sleep will get better, your mindset and your cognition will become sharper because your body removes those luxuries of eating all day, every day. So keeping it lean, put yourself in a small deficit and you'll find that it will really drive you and level things up. Just knock off 200 to 500 calories a day. You probably wouldn't notice it. It's not that extreme, but depending on how many calories you normally have, it's not that extreme, but it definitely sharpens up. Like I've noticed the last couple of weeks, sharpening up my thinking, my motivation, my drive, my energy levels, a lot more consistent. The third is full of steam. So if you want to be clean, lean, and full of steam, and the reality is if you look at 95% of the people you know, they're probably not clean, they're probably not lean, and they're probably sluggish, lazy, slow, tired, exhausted, bored. They're not full of steam. How do we get full of steam? Well, again, reasonably basic. You need to get the body moving. The days are long at the minute in the summer. The sun's coming up between 4 and 5 p.m. You've got a good 12 to 14 hours of natural daylight. Get out there in shorts, t-shirt, go for a walk, listen to a podcast, get some fresh air. Fire up the body in the morning. You need to get it moving, get the heart pumping, get the blood pumping, get the oxygen around it, get the water in. If you're going to fill a race car up with gravy, it's just not going to move. Let's treat our bodies like a full high-performance machine and get those steps in. Get the sleep you need. Ideally sleeping without an alarm clock. I don't know what, there's lots of different science about how much sleep you need to get. Get what's right for you. Go to bed in the same hour window. Get up naturally, which you'll find will normally end up being the set amount of time after you went to bed, mirroring that hour window. And think about other ways to increase your drive. So back in the day when we were cavemen, then we would be out there chasing a huge dopamine hit. So once a month or once every fortnight, we'd go out and we'd go searching for the next animal to bring home to feed the family. And we'd go out and we'd be driven and we'd be motivated and we'd be in a deficit and we'd be focused on achieving this thing like a lion would when it goes hunting. And then you'd grab you'd get the food, you'd hunt the prey, you'd have the big win. And then similar to a lion, hunt like a lion. You go hunt, get your prey, bring it back, and then sit under the tree and relax. You would have these huge dopamine hits that would happen on a weekly basis rather than a shorter frequency. And the danger now is we're not searching for these big dopamine hits because life's too easy to a degree. We're waking up and we've got social media, WhatsApp, TikTok, anything on your phone. You're waking up and you're having sugar in your tea, you're having fizzy drinks, you're having jam on your toast. All of these things are giving you little dopamine hits: cigarettes, nicotine, sweets, TV, social media, music, anything that's just giving you these little dopamine hits. And the reality is it's very hard to go out and hunt like a lion or go out and hunt your prey if you've got these constant little micro dopamine hits. Give yourself a bit of a dopamine detox. Get off your phone, get off social media, stop eating sugar, drinking caffeine, smoking cigarettes, have all these little dopamine hits and just chase those big spikes, which will get you more driven. And this will get you full of steam. Equally, if you're hunting like a lion, you need to take some time off. So make sure you do finish in the evening. Because if you work till 11 at night and then get back up at 5 in the morning and do it again, eventually it will become the law of diminishing returns. You won't be motivated, you won't be driven, and you're just fighting your way through it. However, if you force yourself to stop at whatever time you choose to stop, and you have the evening off, and you commit to yourself, you're happy to work your backside off Monday to Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, or even just one day at the weekend, is sacred. Saturday is sacred. That's your day when it's your day off. You don't do any work, or maybe you take the whole weekend off, Saturday and Sunday off. Take Saturday and Sunday off. Get completely detoxed, completely recharged, and Saturday will be relaxed and it'll be recharging. Sunday, you'll be sitting there, you'll be twiddling your thumbs, you'll be getting excited about going back to business, and then you can go again. So this is clean, lean, and full of steam. And if you're a busy entrepreneur starting a business, or you're a busy property investor running your company, these things will sound very alien to you. Whereas if you genuinely want to be a high net worth, highly leveraged, highly lucrative property entrepreneur, you really do need to be clean, lean, full of steam, make the most of the long days of the spring and the summer seasons, and work on the business rather than in it. Look at having self-care and self-preservation rather than working ridiculously, like burning the candle at both ends and working ridiculously hard. We want to be working smart, we want to be working hard, but we want to be working most of all sustainably so we can keep it up. We don't want to have those days of greatness and then a collapse, or periods of feasting and then absolute famine. So the first three. The fourth is to prioritize. So it's very easy to be a busy property investor. Like everyone's running around, doing deals, talking to trades. Don't mistake activity for progress. What you want to do is you want to prioritize the important over the urgent. It is so easy now to wake up, start on the WhatsApp messages, start on the emails, start speaking to trades, answering the phone calls, doing all this day-to-day stuff that you do as a property investor, but it's going to stop you. It's going to slow you down. It's low value activity. And what I want to do is start prioritizing the important work. There's important work you need to do in your business, which is not reactive. It's proactive and it's important. It's not reactive and urgent. And you've got to carve out time to enable you to do this. A good way to do this is time blocking. So say, for example, you're going to block out the first 2 hours or 4 hours, or maybe up to, depending where you are on your journey, up to midday. As a high performance, high net worth property entrepreneur, we would book out, say, half of the day to work on our work. Like today, I'm in the studio, I'm creating content. Then I'm off to view a brand new £20 million commercial portfolio that we're looking at. They're high value activities that are prioritized in my diary over the WhatsApp messages, the noise, the urgent stuff that would otherwise consume me. And it takes discipline. So the fourth is prioritizing. Important over urgent. Be proactive rather than reactive. And as a high performance, high value entrepreneur, block out the time that is yours, but then appreciate after that, the world is just going to come and get you. It's going to eat you alive. You've got messages to answer. There's going to be problems. It comes with the territory, but don't let it be at the expense of your future progress, success, growth, and returns. Number 5 is, with that in mind, when we're talking about distractions, we're talking about urgent, we're talking about dopamine detox, a little hack here for number 5 is your phone. Your phone is created to be seductive. If you've not watched the social, I forget what it's called, Netflix series where it talks about how much money is spent on social media every year with the sole intention of distracting you. The way that the colors are used, the way that the scroll function works, the way the notifications pop up, all of that is created to seduce you, to distract you. And this is why success as a property entrepreneur is so easy. Because the 95% of your competitors who are just running around being busy property investors, they're on the phone, they're on WhatsApp, they're on social media, they're being distracted, there's the noise, all of that stuff's keeping them at bay. But as a new age property entrepreneur, we want to overcome that. And a really quick way to do that with your phone, number 1 is to turn all the notifications off. You'll never hear my phone. My phone actually doesn't have a ring function. You may have my number, you may be able to WhatsApp me, but you can't physically call me. It hasn't rung for nearly 2 years. It just doesn't have the telephone function. I'm not here as a new age property entrepreneur. I'm not here to answer phone calls. Listen to the other podcasts about gatekeepers, dream team, working on it, not in it. We don't need to be receiving phone calls. That's not how this game, that's not how the game at this level works. We want the notifications off. We want the sounds off. We want the do not disturb function on. And a big one is we don't want the screen in multicolour. That screen has been developed with hundreds of millions of pounds and endless variations to make it seductive. The way it works, the way you engage with it, the way it pings, the way it pops. That's there to distract you. Turn the notifications off, the noises off, and also turn the colour off. So you can use the black and white screen function. Depending on what phone you've got, have a quick Google, black and white screen function. Your phone all of a sudden goes from being this seductive, distracting ball of energy, colour, noise, distraction into a functional black and white boring device that sits in your bag in silence doing its thing. Number 6 is, with that in mind, when you do need to use your phone, do not have email on your phone. You know, as property investors running around between viewings, messaging trades, messaging solicitors, doing deals, we need to get you away from that. You need to have a team that are speaking to your suppliers, a team that are talking to your agents, a team that are talking to your trades, your solicitors, your accountants. And your phone needs to be there for high value, important tasks only. With that in mind, you do not need email on your phone. There is, unless you are working in your business, running around, being a busy property investor, you do not need email on your phone. There is no reason to have email on your phone. Email should be deleted off your phone. I haven't had email on my phone for maybe 4 years, 5 years. And the reason for that is it's not an instant messaging platform, but you treat it like it. There's a time in the day where you might want to sit down for half an hour, do your emails, answer them all, close it down, then disappear. Because it's not an instant messaging platform. If someone wants you immediately, they'll get you via a different platform. You don't need it on your phone. Number six is you don't actually, number six is no email on your phone. But also, if you want to be a new age property entrepreneur, it should be no email at all. Like there's no, if you want to earn, if you listen to the Raise Your Rate podcast, go through the episodes, find Raise Your Rate. If you want to go above £20 an hour, which I would recommend for every single one of you, you do not want to have an inbox. You do not want to be answering emails. Managing an inbox is a 12 to at tops £20 an hour job. That doesn't need to be done by you. Most of it is, can you send this? Can you file this? Have you got a copy of this? Most of it's functional. Most of it's low value. All you need to do is offer the direction and the decision making. And that can be done between you and your gatekeepers. Your gatekeepers are there to run the businesses for you. Your responsibility is work on it, not in it. As a high value, high net worth, new age property entrepreneur, you want to be working on the runway for the business, fundraising, investment for the next projects, having time to just sit there and be strategic, creative, make these big high value decisions, do bigger developments. That's what we want to be doing there. So number 6, no email on the phone, and ideally no email at all. Number 7 is, with that in mind, do nothing and delegate everything, or do nothing and automate everything. What we want to do is just get rid of the need to do anything. You know, your day should be time chunked into tasks of high value activity. Here, appraising a new portfolio, a new development. Then it should be a chunk of time. Then maybe a quick check in with the team, answer a few messages. Then another 90-minute session on creating content, doing strategic activity, drafting marketing campaigns, liaising with new investors, all this business development activity. Everything else should be delegated. So if you think about the task triangle, if you're not listening to the episode, go and listen to the task triangle blueprint. You've got high, medium, and low value tasks. You should only be working on the high value, which is decisions and directive. If you listen to the episode, it will explain how to do the others. And the medium and low value, you want to give that to PAs, VAs, EAs. And I'm not talking about, people think the concept of becoming a property entrepreneur is, you've got to have hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of salary. And actually they'd rather stay as a small one-man band, lifestyle, property investor. Nowadays, you can have any skill set you want on pay-as-you-go, 0 hours contract. Look at everything that's on your to-do list and think, not what do I need to do or when do I need to do it, who do I give it to? And then literally just start writing down, right, that work there, I need a copy editor. I need a social media manager. I need a PA to manage my inbox. I need a graphic designer to create a brochure. You should not be using things like Canva and Gmail and all these sort of admin operational tasks. If you want to be a proper work on it, not in it property entrepreneur, you want to have a team of people, VAs, PAs, and EAs that don't even have to be employed to run those things for you. And equally with do nothing, delegate everything, is like, if you want to be maximum productivity, how do we delegate other things like driving? For the last 10 years, I've had a driver. Driving a car is a 15 to £20 an hour task. And for that, you want to get a world-class driver who looks after you, services you well, enjoys the job. It's a win-win for everybody. But for you, you can sit there and in the 1, 2, 3 hours it takes of travel, you can make 5, 10, 100 times what you would pay your driver to drive, in my case, one of your own cars. Meal prep's another one. So meal prep, at the minute, I'm doing a cut. So for the next 12 weeks, rather than worry about weighing my food out, prepping it, am I going to be in my deficit? Am I going to eat over? It's just prep. My breakfast is the same every single day. My lunch is my prep. And the only meal I prepare myself is when I go home with my partner, have dinner in the evening together, and do that, as out of choice as a preference. So what can you delegate? What can you What can you give to somebody else? What's taking you time during the day? And let's buy that time back. There's very few tasks you can't delegate for less than £20 an hour. The majority of business operational tasks can be done by somebody else for less than £20 an hour. And if you want to get to the point where you're making £1 million a year, that's £500 an hour, roughly. If you work £500 an hour for 40 hours a week, that's £1 million a year. You are not going to get to £500 an hour average rate by answering emails, driving your own car, cooking your own lunches, answering email, using WhatsApp all day. It's just not going to happen. Number 8, which is in a similar sense, is if you want to become a high performance entrepreneur and you want to break through these norms of society, is you want to do whatever you can to remove decision fatigue, because whether it's making decisions or it's avoiding distractions, everything is there to distract you. Everything is literally created to distract you. 95% of the population are getting distracted by it. Their energy is used on completely pointless activities. How do we get you into that top 5% of people that don't have those distractions, that don't have to waste energy and time on making decisions? What we want to do is look at standardizing our day, where you have a set time, like we talked about in the calendar. You have set tasks in your calendar. And ideally, you remove the decision fatigue by doing the same thing day in, day out. And that might sound boring, but I can assure you, it makes you more efficient. It makes you more effective. It removes the sort of ball catching exercise. And whether it's planning your calendar on a Sunday using Sunday Sanity, or it is going to the gym every day at the same time, 7 a.m. every day, same gym, same time, same every day, going to the gym the same time, breakfast at the same time, lunch at the same time, dinner at the same time, same breakfast every day, same lunch every day, one meal for variety, checking my phone at 10 a.m. and checking my phone at 2 p.m., meeting with my team on a monthly basis, having my one-to-ones weekly on a Tuesday on a weekly basis. You just want to remove the decision fatigue. So you don't have to think about what am I doing, when am I doing it. It's all booked in. Everything's booked in. It's scheduled. You know what you're doing. You know when you're doing it. And it just really enables you to just crack on and stop getting distracted, remove that tiredness that comes from decision fatigue, and press on with it. Number 9 is visibility. So if you're going to be high performance, if it's valuable, whatever you want to achieve, if it's valuable, it has to be visible. So how do we make your goal, your target, what you're trying to achieve visible? Well, very straightforward. For 99p from Amazon, get a little whiteboard you can stick on your fridge. Get a whiteboard pen for a quid from Asda, Tesco's, wherever, and write on your mirror in your bathroom. Get a piece of paper out your office and scribble it down and stick it somewhere. And what we want to do is we want to break this down. We want to make it visible, but we really want to break down what are we going to achieve. So let's say you've got a target for the next 3 months, 12 weeks. Like I'm doing a weight cut at the minute, half a kilo every week. So I know that I want to lose 10 kilos. So I've done my bulk, 6 months bulking. I'm now doing literally, so May, June, July, August. I'm now doing 4 months, so 16-week cut. Basically, about half a kilo a week for 20 weeks will be 10 kilos back down to, beach lean body weight. And rather than worry about how am I going to lose 10 kilos, 10 kilos is broken down over 3 months. Each month's broken into 28 days. Each 28 days is broken into 4 weeks. Each 4 weeks is broken into 7 days. Each 7 days is broken down into half a kilo. And each day is weighing myself. So on my whiteboard now, it's visible. I know where I'm going. I'm locked in. It's the first thing I look at in the morning. It's the last thing I look at night. I weigh myself the second I get up. And I'm dialed in. I'm not worried getting to the end of the week and I've forgotten about it. It's visible. It's valuable. I've broken it down and I've made it really easy. So whether it's a weight cut or it's a sales target or it's a marketing campaign or it's a recruitment strategy, whatever it is, take it, break it down into years, quarters, months, weeks, days, and then just execute. Stop being distracted, set it all out, break it down, and then all you've got to do then is turn up. And then finally is accountability. You do all these things, you clean, you lean, you're full of steam, you delegated everything. You've removed all your decision fatigue. You've got your meal prep sorted. You're ready to rumble. You're driven. The targets are on the mirror. You've done all this stuff. how do you actually hold yourself accountable? Well, the challenging thing about being an entrepreneur is because you're the one holding yourself to account, you don't have a boss, or you don't have to be accountable to somebody else. The challenging thing here is that you end up being the first one that's going to let yourself down because nobody's holding you to account. You know, they say that integrity is what you do when integrity or authenticity is what you do when nobody's watching. Now, it's very easy to not do what you have to do if nobody's watching, nobody's holding you accountable, nobody's pulling you up and calling you out on your, X, Y, Z. So what we do here is accountability. Well, how do we make ourselves accountable? Well, you need a peer group. How do you get a high-value peer group? It could be a group of friends. If you're on Property Entrepreneur, you've got your individual communities, you've got your individual programs. Every month, you've got your buddy. What do we do to hold ourselves accountable? Well, we make it public. We post it. We share it. We tell people what we're going to do. We take them on the journey. And then this whole accountability is visible. The accountability spikes increase. And all of a sudden, you can't hide. There is nowhere to hide. And if you're a man or a woman of your word, you will then hold yourself accountable to your own standards because you've told other people and you've made it public and you've got that peer group accountability where none of you want to let each other or yourselves down. So success, in conclusion, is very, very easy. The reality is 95% of people, however, are distracted. They're demotivated. They don't have the energy. They're not clean, lean, full of steam. But 5% of people are high performers. They are the ones getting ahead. There's no secret sauce apart from getting away from the distraction, breaking out of the masses and society, and following these 10 hacks to make sure you go out there and achieve what you want to achieve. If you've enjoyed this and you haven't already listened to the Fire Up the Flywheel podcast episode, go back to the episode now, type in Fire Up the Flywheel, and if you're not doing all those things and you're not heading towards being a high net worth, new age property entrepreneur, listen to the 3 gears you've got to go through because number one is the hardest, but if you can crack that, number 2 and number 3 are a piece of cake. Listen to Fire Up the Flywheel now. That'll be the way to get you started and get this thing moving. If you're already in gear 2, these are the levels to take it up to the next step. And then as you move forward, just remember, success is easy, but breaking away from the distractions is really hard. If you can crack this, implement these 10 steps, you will realize success is very easy. You can smash it out of the park. You can be in that top 5%. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.